Hi guys! Today I'm going to share with you my favorite ballroom dance lesson I've ever taught. And it's actually something I can't really narrow down to one specific lesson or student or couple, but there's absolutely a profile of what my favorite lesson is. And I have taught many of them, but they all look kind of the same. And I can narrow this down into a few different categories, okay? So like any other career, kind of our definition, I think, of enjoying our job is a feeling of success. And being a ballroom dance teacher and professional is no different. Even in competition, competing is joyful, but I'll tell you what, it's even more fun when you win. So same thing with teaching. And over the course of my career, my definition of success, and therefore the type of lesson I most enjoy teaching, has evolved. When I started out teaching, my favorite lesson was one where a accomplished couple switched to me being their primary coach from whoever their previous primary coach is. Because usually if they're an accomplished couple or competitor, their previous pro is also very accomplished. But when you start out teaching, I've shared this before, you are subjected to a lot of kind of abuse and backbiting, and the existing local professional community perhaps being intimidated by your competence and fear of you taking their students, and they will put you down and say things like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You value your competition career more than your students. Just all sorts of things that as a human being we can't help but feel a little bit of self-doubt and lack of confidence until we prove ourselves. So that initial kind of exciting, rewarding feeling is good dancers changing and thinking, I'm getting something really good out of this teacher. Then the next kind of evolution from there is when you see those individuals or couples really thrive and grow, where maybe they had been for years on this kind of trajectory and they switch to you, and suddenly their growth skyrockets, and you're filled with joy for that student. You're filled with joy for, okay, I'm not wasting their money. I actually am pretty good at what I do. And I'm not really proud to admit it, but there's also a little bit of pride, like maybe that teacher who was throwing shade at you is now seeing, whoa, maybe they aren't as bad as I thought. And so at that point in my career, those first few years, that was what was rewarding to me. But after I really came into my own as a professional and saw that I was competent, I would go to nationals and all my couples would make the finals there. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't suck as a pro. I'm actually a pretty good teacher. After that, the rewarding aspect that made it a joyful lesson for me was when I enjoyed my time in that lesson with those students. So not only were they reliable and didn't blow me off at the last second or cancel a bunch of lessons at the last second, but I also just enjoyed that time with them and spending time with them as people and getting to know them a little bit inside that lesson time. And then that kind of became my most enjoyable, private lessons, because I was seeing growth in everyone. But certainly that became kind of my new favorite lesson. And then these days, now that I'm an old codger and I've been teaching a long time, certainly all of those things matter. I love when I see students excel. I love when I have an enjoyable experience with students during that lesson time, and we laugh and swap stories. Get to know them. But finally, after all these years, I also super appreciate the very long-term relationships that I've been blessed to be able to cultivate over the years, where there's people now that have been taking with me for 20 years. And it just, it's kind of like having a lifelong friend. You know each other very well. You've known each other a long time. You develop this mutual trust and understanding. And so kind of that evolution of what my favorite, most successful kind of private lesson time looks like has grown a bit over the years. So in closing, it is natural, especially when you start out teaching, to be a little bit insecure. Certainly, even to this day, I feel like, oh my heavens, I am never, ever, ever going to match up to the people that I have taken coaching with. And I believe that in my heart. This is a fact. You know, when I teach, really all I'm doing is parroting these amazing lessons I've taken from other people. I didn't invent these dances. I didn't invent the technique. I didn't invent how to communicate that information. I learned that from learning from these people. And so props and respect to them. And I do take great pride and kind of feel success and enjoyment having taught privates to people who are now professionals and kind of passing on that joy and that knowledge and the beauty of this art to future generations. So anyway, that's what my most rewarding private lesson time looks like these days. So hope that was interesting to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.